Have you ever noticed the strange, quiet exhaustion that follows a yes you never actually wanted to say? What if the peace you are desperately trying to keep with others is the very thing destroying the peace within yourself? If you have ever felt drained, anxious, or completely invisible after bending to the demands of someone else, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see this pain and your own strength forever. 1. The heavy weight of the forced yes. Here is a truth that is difficult to face. Every time you say yes when your heart quietly screams no, you are betraying yourself. Think about how it feels. The tightening in your chest, the slight hesitation in your throat, the forced smile that hides a deep, heavy resignation. We all know this feeling. You agree to take on a burden that is not yours. You stay late to fix a mistake that someone else abandoned. You listen to the endless complaints of a relative when your own spirit is already deeply exhausted. You accept an invitation you dread, simply because you do not want to disrupt the harmony of the room. You tell yourself you are being kind. You tell yourself it is easier just to agree. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us something profoundly different about this kind of sacrifice. In Buddhist thought, true compassion cannot exist if it excludes yourself. When you cling to the identity of being the good person, the selfless one, the one who never causes a ripple, you create your own suffering. You become attached to an illusion, the illusion that you can control how others feel by entirely erasing your own limits. Imagine a quiet, beautifully clear lake reflecting the morning sky. It is completely peaceful, but if you continuously allow others to throw their heavy stones into your water, soon the lake becomes muddy, turbulent, and unrecognizable. You are doing this to your own mind. You are allowing the demands, the noise, and the expectations of the outside world to muddy your still waters, simply because you are afraid to ask them to stop throwing their stones. Why do we do this? We live in a world that praises endless giving. We are taught from a young age that saying no is inherently selfish. We carry the heavy weight of family obligations, the pressure to always be a team player at work, and the silent rules of relationships that tell us our worth is measured by how useful we are to others. But what happens to your spirit? You become hollow. Ask yourself, right now, as you listen to these words, think about your own life. What are you still saying yes to, out of pure fear? What are you so afraid will happen if you finally let that no rest comfortably on your lips? Is this forced agreement actually bringing you peace, or is it only feeding your silent resentment? Stop, breathe, let that sink in. You do not have to carry everything handed to you. You do not have to be a completely open door for every person who wishes to walk carelessly through your life. The next time you feel the pressure to agree, simply pause. Let the discomfort rise. Observe the fear of their disappointment, but do not let it make your decisions for you. Do not rush to fill the heavy silence with a yes that you will instantly regret. Because peace is not something you chase by making everyone else comfortable. It is something you make space for by honoring your own truth. But understanding the weight of your forced agreements is only the first step. We must look closely at why we give our power away. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. Why we give away our peace to avoid conflict. What if the conflict you are trying so desperately to avoid on the outside is simply being transferred to the inside? Here is the truth few people want to face. Every time you silence yourself to keep the peace, in a room, you are declaring war on your own spirit. Think about the moments just before you give in. You feel the tension rising. Someone makes a request that crosses your limits, or expects a level of availability you simply do not have to give. Perhaps it is a demanding family member, or a friend who takes without ever giving. You sense the friction. You know that if you stand your ground, there will be a disruption. There will be sighs, disappointment, a shift in their mood, or perhaps even anger. And so, to avoid the immediate discomfort of their reaction, you surrender your peace. You absorb their dissatisfaction so they do not have to feel it. You tell yourself it is just easier this way. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us about the danger of aversion, the deep, instinctual desire to run away from anything that feels unpleasant. We are so afraid of the uncomfortable moment of conflict that we trade it for a lingering, quiet suffering. In Buddhist thought, this is a form of clinging. We cling to a false image of harmony. We believe that if the surface of the water is calm, everything is well. But true peace cannot be built on a foundation of avoidance. When you avoid a necessary boundary to please someone else, you are not actually making peace. You are only postponing the storm. Imagine a deeply rooted tree standing in a wide, open valley. When a powerful storm rolls in, the tree does not attempt to shrink or apologize for its branches. It does not uproot itself to make the wind more comfortable. It simply deepens its roots and allows the wind to hit its bark. The storm may howl, the leaves may shake, but the tree remains exactly where it belongs. When you constantly bend to avoid the wind of another person's disappointment, you are uprooting yourself. You are losing your ground just to accommodate the weather. We see this uprooting every day. You swallow your true feelings during a conversation, only to leave feeling entirely unseen. You mold yourself into whatever shape a relationship demands, silently hoping that if you are easy enough to deal with, you will finally be respected. But a respect built on your own disappearance is completely empty. Ask yourself right now, think about your own life. What are you actually protecting when you constantly compromise your boundaries? Are you preserving a genuine connection, or are you just maintaining a comfortable illusion for someone else? What are you afraid will happen if you let the wind of their anger blow without trying to stop it? Pause, breathe. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. The next time you feel the urge to compromise your soul to avoid a tense moment, stand still. Notice the overwhelming urge to fix their mood, to smooth over the silence, to apologize for taking up space. Observe that urge as if it were a passing cloud. You do not have to follow it. You do not have to calm every storm you encounter. Let them be disappointed, because preserving a false harmony is incredibly costly. And this is where the next truth begins. 3. The hidden cost of abandoning yourself. What if the price of keeping everyone else warm is freezing to death yourself? Here is the truth few people want to face. Every time you push down your own voice to elevate someone else's, a small part of you fades into the background. You know this feeling of fading. It happens in the quiet moments after you have given too much. You sit in your car after a long day of serving everyone else's needs, and you feel entirely empty. You gave your energy to a friend in endless crisis. You absorbed the heavy stress of your workplace. You swallowed your own exhaustion to keep a family gathering pleasant. And now, in the silence, there is nothing left for you. You have abandoned yourself on the altar of being helpful. You believe that being relentlessly reliable is your highest virtue, even when it demands your quiet self-destruction. In Buddhist thought, one of the deepest sources of suffering is the illusion that our worth comes entirely from the outside. When we constantly abandon our own needs to serve others, we are living in delusion. We mistakenly believe that our inner light only matters if it is illuminating someone else's path. But Buddhism reminds us that the circle of compassion is entirely broken if it does not include you. You cannot offer true peace to the world if you are actively waging war against your own limits. Imagine a single candle burning brightly in a quiet, sheltered room. It is steady, it is peaceful. But if you constantly carry this fragile candle out into the howling wind, desperately trying to light the way for every passing stranger who refuses to carry their own lantern, the flame will violently flicker and die. You are left standing in total darkness. The candle did not fail. It was simply asked to give more than it could sustain without a shield. We do this constantly in our busy lives. You drain your own light to support a partner who refuses to walk their own path. You sacrifice your quiet weekend rest because a colleague carelessly dropped their responsibilities. You silence your own frustration when someone ignores you, hoping they will eventually notice your quiet suffering. You are standing in the freezing wind, wondering why your spirit feels so completely burned out. Ask yourself, think about your own life. Where are you standing in the wind right now? Who are you sacrificing your inner warmth for? And do they even notice the profound cost to your spirit? What are you afraid will happen if you finally decide to step back inside and protect your own light? Pause. Breathe. Place your attention on your own presence. Stop trying to light the way for those beside, who demand your fire but offer no shelter in return. Do your part, then release the outcome. Let the wind blow without throwing yourself into it. You are allowed to protect your flame, because peace is not found by exhausting yourself until there is nothing left to give. It is found by recognizing that you are worthy of the very protection you so freely give away. But as you begin to reclaim your light, a powerful illusion often stands in the way. We believe it is our duty to manage how others feel when we finally stop giving. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The illusion of being the caretaker of others' feelings. What if the heaviest burden you carry does not even belong to you? Here is the truth few people want to face. You are not responsible for how other people react to your truth. Think about the moments immediately after you finally gather the courage to say no. You set the boundary, you draw the line. But instead of feeling free, a deep panic sets in. You anxiously watch their face. You listen closely to the tone of their voice. If they pull away, if they sigh, or if they act entirely offended, you instantly feel guilty. You rush to over-explain. You apologize for taking up space. You try to soften the blow so much that the boundary itself disappears. You have convinced yourself that if someone else is upset by your limit, you have done something profoundly wrong. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this endless management of other people's emotions is a deep illusion of control. In Buddhist thought, attachment to outcomes is the root of our deepest suffering. We believe we can shape the reactions of the people around us. We try to manipulate reality so that our boundaries cause no ripples, no friction, and no pain. But Buddhism reminds us that everyone must walk their own path and carry the weight of their own reactions. When you try to shield someone from the natural friction of your boundary, you are taking away their reality, and you are trapping yourself in a cycle of impossible control. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, restless ocean. The waves are rising, crashing, and churning heavily against the shore. Now, imagine frantically trying to press those crashing waves flat with your bare hands, hoping to force the ocean to remain perfectly calm. You will only exhaust yourself, and you will eventually be pulled under. Other people's emotions are the ocean. When you decline an unreasonable request at work, or when you finally tell a deeply critical family member that you will no longer accept their heavy words, you are simply standing on the shore. Their anger, their disappointment, or their cold silence, these are the waves. You do not have to flatten them. You do not have to jump into the turbulent water to calm the storm. Ask yourself, think about your own life. Whose emotions are you desperately trying to manage today? When you set a limit, what are you so afraid will happen if you simply let them be upset? Is this constant need to fix their mood bringing you peace, or is it only feeding your fear? Stop, breathe. Let the storm pass without becoming the storm. You are allowed to step back. You can be kind. You can be compassionate, but you must release the outcome. You do not have to chase their approval, and you do not have to apologize for holding your ground. Let them feel what they feel. Do your part, then release the outcome, because true peace is not found by perfectly managing the world around you. It is found by remaining quietly anchored within yourself, no matter how loud the room becomes. But this kind of steady anchor requires learning how to exist in the uncomfortable space that follows a boundary. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. The power of the pause. What if the most powerful thing you can do when someone demands your energy is absolutely nothing? Here is the truth few people want to face. We are conditioned to believe that every request requires an immediate reaction, but the rush to answer is often just fear in disguise. Think about how quickly you reply when someone asks for a favor. A message arrives on your screen. A colleague stops by your desk with a sudden problem. A family member demands your immediate presence. Before you even consult your own spirit, before you even ask yourself if you genuinely have the capacity, you are already saying yes. You feel a sudden rush of pressure in your chest. You believe that any silence, any hesitation, will be immediately interpreted as unkindness or rejection. So, you jump to fill the quiet. You rush to accommodate. You react blindly, entirely driven by the panic of the moment. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound importance of the space between a stimulus and a response. In Buddhist thought, this quiet space is where true mindfulness lives. When we react immediately out of fear, obligation, or deep habit, we are completely asleep to our own reality. We are swept away by the heavy current of another person's urgency. Buddhism reminds us that we are not required to jump at every sudden sound. There is a sacred stillness available to you in every moment, if you simply choose to claim it. Imagine a small wooden boat on a fast-moving, turbulent river. The water is rushing rapidly, pulling everything uncontrollably downstream. If you drop your oars and panic, the river will violently dictate exactly where you end up. You will crash against the rocks. But if you take a single, deep breath, firmly plant your oars into the water, and just hold them steady for one moment, the boat stops spinning. You are no longer at the complete mercy of the rushing current. That brief, intentional resistance, that holding of the oars, is the pause. We encounter these rushing rivers constantly in our daily lives. The pressure to answer a demanding message instantly. The heavy expectation that you will drop your own rest the second a friend calls to complain about their life. The silent demand in a room full of people expecting you to step up and fix a situation that is fundamentally not yours to fix. They are pulling you into their fast-moving current, but their urgency is not your emergency. Ask yourself, think about your own life. How many of your deepest regrets, how many of your quiet resentments were born in a rushed moment where you simply forgot you had the right to wait? What are you so afraid will happen if you let a message sit unanswered for an hour? Is a delayed response actually a failure, or is it the beginning of self-respect? Pause, breathe, observe the pressure without surrendering to it. The next time a heavy demand is placed in your lap, do not instantly reply. Give yourself the immense gift of silence. A simple, "I need to think about." This is a complete and protective shield. Let their urgency rise, let it hang in the air, and watch it pass without letting it dictate your actions. Because true strength is not proven by how fast you can respond to the demands of the world. It is proven by your ability to stand entirely still while the world spins rapidly around you. But even when you master the pause, there comes a moment when the quiet must be broken and the actual limit must be set. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Drawing the line in silence. What if the strongest boundary you can ever set requires almost no words at all? Here is the truth few people want to face. We mistakenly believe that a boundary must be an argument, a negotiation, or a heavily defended fortress. Think about what happens when you finally decide to say no. You do not just say no. You build an entire case. You over-explain your schedule. You draft long, anxious messages detailing exactly why you cannot attend, why you cannot help, or why you need space. You rehearse your reasons in the mirror, hoping they sound convincing enough. You believe that if you just give the other person enough logic, if they truly understand your exhaustion, they will graciously accept your limit. You are exhausting yourself, trying to make your boundary pleasant for them to swallow. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us a profound lesson about the nature of over-explanation. In Buddhist thought, when we constantly justify our right to peace, we are still completely attached to the other person's approval. We are still asking for permission to protect our own spirit. Buddhism reminds us that truth does not need to shout to be true. It simply is. When you endlessly explain your limits, you are unknowingly giving the other person the power to debate them. Imagine a heavy, beautifully carved wooden door that has been quietly locked. When the wind blows against it, or when someone approaches and tries to turn the handle, the door does not open. But notice what the door does not do. It does not apologize. It does not explain to the wind why it is closed. It does not offer a list of reasons to the hand trying to force it open. It simply holds its position in absolute, quiet dignity. Its boundary is a silent fact. We forget this quiet dignity in our modern lives. You tell a demanding relative that you will not be visiting for the family gathering, and when they press you for a reason, you immediately feel the guilt rise and begin to justify your choice. You decline extra, draining responsibilities from a colleague, and you instantly launch into an apology about your schedule. You are treating your own peace as if it were a crime you must defend in court. You are handing them the keys to your locked door. Ask yourself, think about your own life. Why do you feel the overwhelming need to provide an exhaustive list of reasons just to protect your own energy? When you say no, are you actually setting a boundary, or are you secretly begging for their permission to have one? What are you afraid will happen if your only explanation is a quiet, steady silence? Stop, breathe, let the silence do the heavy lifting. The next time you must decline a request or step back from a heavy situation, state your truth simply. Let your no be a complete sentence. Stop talking immediately after you set the limit. Do not fill the uncomfortable air with nervous apologies or lengthy explanations. Stand quietly behind your locked door, because true strength is not found in how well you can argue your right to exist. It is found in your quiet refusal to debate your own worth. But what happens when your silent dignity is met with absolute refusal and the boundary is challenged? And this is where the next truth begins. 7. When the boundary is not welcomed. What if the anger someone shows when you set a limit is not a sign that you did something wrong, but proof that the limit was desperately needed? Here is the truth few people want to face. Not everyone will celebrate your newfound strength. Think about what happens when you finally hold firm. They push back, they act offended, they give you the cold, heavy, silent treatment, or they accuse you of being entirely selfish and uncaring. When this happens, you feel a deep, burning guilt. Your mind immediately begins to replay the conversation. Did I say it too harshly? Was I too cold? Should I have just agreed this one last time? Because you care, part of you wants to retreat, to completely erase the boundary and to say you are sorry, just to make them smile again. You confuse their discomfort with your own failure. You believe that a correct boundary is one that everyone accepts peacefully, but a boundary that restricts someone's endless access to your energy will almost never be met with applause. Buddhist wisdom teaches us deeply about the painful friction of change. In Buddhist thought, the ego struggles violently to hold on to what is comfortable and familiar. When a dynamic shifts, resistance is the natural response. Their reaction is not actually a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of their attachment. They are attached to the old version of you, the version that was always available, always bending, always quiet. Buddhism reminds us that we must have the courage to let these old, heavy forms fall away, even when the people around us desperately try to hold on to them. Imagine a large, heavy stone resting deeply at the bottom of a fast-moving stream. For years, the water has flowed freely over it, wearing it down, completely uninterrupted. One day, the stone shifts and rises above the surface of the water. The stream instantly reacts. It crashes against the stone. It foams, churns, and creates turbulent, noisy waves. The water is agitated because its easy path has been disrupted. But the stone did not do anything wrong. It merely claimed its rightful space. The turbulence is simply the sound of the world adjusting to a new reality. We face this turbulence constantly in our daily lives. A friend who used to dump all their negativity on you feels deeply betrayed when you finally ask them to stop. A family member who relied on your silent obedience becomes hostile when you respectfully decline their heavy demands. They are the rushing water. They want their easy path back. They want the deep comfort of your quiet sacrifice. Ask yourself, think about your own life. Whose anger or disappointment are you carrying right now? When they push against your limit, are you interpreting their turbulent reaction as a sign that you must surrender? What are you afraid will happen if you simply let them be angry while you continue to stand firm? Pause, breathe, observe their reaction without taking it inward. You do not have to fix their disappointment. You do not need to sink back to the bottom of the stream just to make the water calm again. Let them feel the friction of your truth. Let the waves crash. Because peace is not the complete absence of other people's anger. It is the unwavering, quiet certainty within you when you refuse to abandon yourself. But standing in this powerful space requires a profound inner shift. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. Finding refuge in your own quiet strength. What if the most courageous thing you ever do is simply refuse to abandon yourself anymore? We began this journey by looking at the strange, heavy exhaustion that follows a forced yes. You have spent so much of your life believing that to be kind, you had to be completely empty. You have carried the immense weight of other people's comfort, constantly bending, constantly silencing your own truth, simply to avoid the uncomfortable ripples of their disapproval. You believed that your worth was measured by how easily you could be consumed by the needs of others. But here is the truth. A peace built on your own self-betrayal is not peace at all. It is just quiet suffering. Buddhist wisdom teaches us about the profound concept of true refuge. In Buddhist thought, a lasting sanctuary is never found by endlessly trying to rearrange the external world to make it perfectly harmonious. True refuge is found completely within. When you stop chasing the approval of those who demand your sacrifice, you finally return to yourself. Buddhism reminds us that you are not a vessel meant to carry the endless demands of the world. You are a living spirit, worthy of deep respect, especially from yourself. Remember the quiet, beautiful lake from our very first lesson? For years, you stood on the shore, helplessly watching as others threw their heavy stones into your water. You apologized for the mud. You tried desperately to calm the turbulent waves. But now, you understand the power of the quiet pause, the dignity of the locked door, and the courage to let the water churn when you finally set a limit. You no longer have to jump into the freezing current to fix it. As you move forward, the world will still ask for your energy. People will still push against your boundaries. The heavy wind of guilt will still occasionally blow. but you do not have to bend with it. When a demanding request arrives, remember your quiet dignity. When someone acts offended by your simple no, remember that their disappointment is their own heavy stone to carry. You are no longer required to shrink so that someone else can feel large. You are no longer required to trade your inner fire to keep a careless room warm. Think about your own life, right now, in this very moment. Look at how far you have carried everyone else. Now, imagine setting that heavy burden gently on the ground. What would it feel like to finally trust your own voice? What if you realized, right now, that you are deeply worthy of the same boundless grace you have been pouring out for everyone else? Stop. Breathe. Let the guilt wash away completely. You are not selfish for protecting your spirit. You are not cruel for allowing a boundary to be clear, even when it is entirely unwelcomed. You are simply practicing the highest form of compassion, the kind that finally includes you. Let the people who only loved your endless compliance drift away. Make space for the quiet, enduring strength that has always been waiting patiently inside of you. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.